right. So this is truly going to be a train of consciousness type video that I put out here today. Really don't have any really strong ideas about what I'm going to talk about, other than the fact of health and whether or not a person, whether or not the Bible tells you a lot to do about your health. And interestingly, when I look at what I do in the Bible, and I'm not a theologian, I'm not a Bible historian or anything, just a person with common interest in that. But I don't find a lot of health things. I don't find about people dying of dread diseases. I don't see, other than Christ healing the ill as they went from town to town. You really don't see many things going on in the Bible that talk about, by the way, this is how you treat something. This is how you uh, preventative medicine. This is how you do CPR. You just don't hear that sort of thing going on very much. So it's interesting to me that although diet is talked about a little bit, particularly in the Old Testament, when they talk about having um, things that would cause cleanliness to be an issue. So it's just, I mean, why not talk about health? What is health? And particularly when you take a look, obviously I'm not a young man. So when you take a look at health at an older age, well, what you find is that everyone has health concerns. Everyone has ailments. Everyone has things that are wrong with them. They're not the same things. They're different for each person, of course. And what we also find is that, at least with the people that I hang out with, it's not how you are when you're ill, when you're sick, when you're having a problem. It's how you are when you get done, when you're well again, when you've recovered. I mean, have you come back to the full mobility that you had before? Are you able to do the same things that you did before? And if you are, well, then that's great. That's a good recovery. But frequently, when people are ill or sick, they don't come back that fast. And it's also interesting that as you get older, you have a difference between illnesses and structural problems. So, you have the obvious illnesses that are everywhere in the world. You have the diabetes, you have the cancers, you have the heart problems, you have the lung problems, you have different things that are just going to be an illness as you do that. But then you also have a really really large number of people who are going around now, and they've had knees replaced and they have hips replaced. They've had shoulders replaced. They've had their hands being worked on because, they have the Dupuytren contracture, which draws your hands up into itself, or you have a carpal tunnel type activity, and you have things that cause hand surgeons to go in there and to work very carefully on your hands. And invariably with that, people are not the same when they get done. You have the foot neuropathy, which, there's a lot of testing for and everything else, and almost nothing you can do about it. As you have that, you just have this foot problem that you can't feel the bottom of your feet. So what am I trying to say? Well, the Bible doesn't really tell us how to deal with this. So what it really comes down to is you need to take care of yourself. So if there's anybody out there that's younger than me, which is probably most everybody, make sure that you take care of yourself. Pay attention to what's going on in your body, and work with, your medical professionals, and work with the people that may know what to do or not to do. And hopefully then that will work out for you and you'll stay healthy for a long time. And remember, that when you pray, when you work with Christ, then there is some peace that comes with that. He's not going to be able to magically cure everything, because that's just not the way he works. But remember that working with Christ is always a good way to go about the troubles that you're going to have with any ailment, with any type of structural problem that you have. Anyway, I hope this makes some sense to you. And please listen to this, subscribe to it, find it on YouTube or on my podcast, Son of a Preacher podcast by GW. And remember, may the Lord bless you, keep you in peace. Thank you.